Hey everybody, it's Matt from endsickness.org. Today I'm going to talk about synthetic supplements and how they trigger mast cell activation. Okay? I'll talk about my experiences I've had with my daughter, with other clients as well. I'll go over synthetic versus naturally derived supplements, explain the difference and importance of the differentiation between both. Talk about how you can't trick your body forever with synthetic stuff. It recognizes it at some point in time. I'll go over how everything must be rotated, including your food, but your supplements most importantly, and also must be naturally derived, otherwise you're going to run into a brick wall with mast cell activation symptoms. I'll talk about the risks of synthetic supplements, what I've seen with clients, with myself, with others as well, and I'll summarize all these things for you. So first and foremost, my experience. For a long period of time I didn't realize that synthetic supplements were in fact synthetic. I thought that magnesium or vitamin C or these B vitamins, I didn't realize that they were actually produced in labs and that was different than plant-derived or naturally derived. And I continued to take these things wondering why initially they produced great effects and then later on I feel like I'd have reactions or weird things that would happen. Then I had my daughter and she had clearly had mast cell activation when she was young. I got her when she was 18 months. She had all kind of health issues. I tried to use various supplements on her, and she would react to these things. But the key similarity amongst them were they were all synthetic. Okay, when I gave her synthetic supplements, even synthetic magnesium, it would cause her to have issues. Okay, I also saw in my clients that if they were taking anything synthetic, it would stop us from really making a lot of progress with the mast cell activation symptoms they had, specifically pharmaceuticals, because of how damaging they can be to the immune system, the liver, etc., the gut microbiome, etc., especially with people who have mast cell activation. So I have a lot of experience observing these things in others, experiencing them myself. So let's talk about synthetic versus naturally derived. Synthetic means that the vitamin or supplement was not derived from a plant or a natural source. It means it was mimicked in a lab where they basically take the real thing and then they produce it in the lab and then they call it the same thing. For example, vitamin C extracted from a plant is not the same thing as vitamin C made in a lab, like ascorbic acid. They're not the same thing, despite what all these supplement companies will tell you, all the propaganda that goes on out there about these things. So naturally derived things can actually be absorbed in your body and they can be stored. Synthetic things are not going to be stored in your body. You're not going to take magnesium, synthetic magnesium, and be able to store it and replace and fix all your magnesium deficiencies. The likelihood of that is extremely slim, okay? In addition, these synthetic things, they build up over time and they must be removed in the same manner that toxins are removed because they're synthetic, right? Naturally derived are removed in a much simpler way by your body. They agree much better with an overactive immune response. And things that are naturally derived, but also mast cell modulators are the best picks by far. I never advise anybody with mast cell activation to try anything except for things that are natural, that are also mast cell modulators, have been shown in studies to be mast cell modulators, okay? So you can't trick the body forever. You may be able to take magnesium up front, first couple days, wow, I feel much better. Or the B vitamins, oh, they produce so much energy, right? But if you keep taking these things over time every single day, eventually what happens with people who have mast cell activation is they start having reactions to these things. They start having problems with them, right? And even if there's something that calms down mast cells like magnesium, a lot of the time there are fillers in these things, or the body realizes this is not really a natural source of magnesium. This is something that was produced in a lab. So the body eventually realizes that these synthetic supplements are not the real thing, and they will cause reactions, histamine reactions, mast cell reactions to these things, and they will make all the other symptoms worse. You could think that you're taking all these supplements that are helping you, but in fact, they could be hurting you because they're not mast cell modulators and they're not natural, okay? And your body is much smarter than people give it credit for. It will tell you when things aren't agreeing with you, and it will know when things aren't natural, when they're synthetic. It knows, okay? So supplements must be rotated, first of all, and they also have to be naturally derived. If you don't do these two things with your supplements, good luck. You're not going to have success with mast cell activation. You will have to keep your supplements in some degree of rotation, either a day on, a day off, 2 days on, a day off, a few days on, a couple days off. It just depends on the supplement and the goal, what you're trying to accomplish with it. You must rotate these things because even if they are natural and they are mast cell modulators, after a while they can irritate the body, like anything that's not food, really, in essence. And even food should be rotated. Foods, when you got mast cell activation, or people typically eat the same foods over and over again. And then they wonder why they develop sensitivities. They add a food back in, they eat it 3-4 days straight, they start reacting to it. What they don't realize is if they didn't ever add it back in 4 days straight and they just did it twice a week, they would be able to tolerate the food, right? So food, supplements all have to be rotated, and the supplements specifically have to be naturally derived and rotated, okay? What are the risks of synthetic supplements? Synthetic supplements can trick you into thinking that they're helping and making a lot of other things worse. For example, like a B vitamin that gives you a lot of energy up front. You feel like, wow, I feel so good, but then it makes your stomach worse, causes stomach acid, have influx of acid in the throat. All of a sudden you start having these other symptoms that start to develop that you don't realize are due to the synthetic nature of that B vitamin, okay? So the risk of synthetic supplements, the biggest risk is you think they help at first because they produce a profound effect immediately, but then they hurt later on, 5-10 days, 2 weeks later, and you don't associate the new symptoms you're having to these supplements. So you throw more supplements on top of it, hoping that that will fix the new symptoms, right? So the answer is to keep throwing stuff at it, stacking more and more supplements, more and more supplements. Next thing you know, you're taking 10 supplements, right? Every single day. Well, if you're taking 10 supplements every single day and you got mast cell activation, you're going to lose that battle, okay? Less is better. Everything you're taking has to be a mast cell modulator and naturally derived, otherwise it will trigger you eventually. The synthetic supplements also, they can cause issues with hormones, with other things as well, you know. Taking vitamin D for too long. Taking vitamin B can cause vitamin B toxicity, vitamin D toxicity, vitamin A toxicity. You know, these things are very real and they happen mostly from synthetic supplements, okay? Another thing is like multivitamins. Multivitamins are like the worst thing you could ever take if you have mast cell activation. They almost always are triggering you, or if you have some type of chronic inflammatory condition. So these things disguise themselves as great options at first because they produce effects, but then they trigger you in the long run. That's the main risk of these synthetic supplements. In addition, they typically hurt your gut microbiome. They don't help gut microbiome because they're not natural, they're synthetic. They don't help to build good bacteria. In most cases, they deplete it. And that is, you know, those are just a few of the risks. I could probably go on a whole video just about the risks of synthetic supplements. But the biggest risk is they trigger your mast cells, which perpetuates the inflammatory cycle and the symptom cycle, and you get stuck thinking that these things are helping when they're actually hurting. So summary key points. I've had plenty of experience seeing this myself. For years I struggled, wondering why I wasn't making progress. I removed the synthetic supplements, made the biggest deal of all. Saw it in my daughter as well. As reactive as you could ever imagine, reactive to the point where she had seizures, her eyes were crossing, etc. These things were all linked to some type of irritant she was exposed to. When I would give her the synthetic versions of the supplements, like a magnesium that was synthetic, she ended up hitting, kicking me, having a fit, her face blushed, all these things. Had clearly had a reaction. Saw it in clients too. Anybody who was taking synthetic supplements or pharmaceuticals consistently, and a few of them at a time, let's say every single day, very difficult to get them out of that situation or that health condition. Have to remove the synthetics to really be able to overcome these things once and for all. So synthetic versus naturally derived. Is it lab made or did it come from a plant? If it's lab made, they can patent it. They can make a lot of money on it. If it's from a plant, they can't. That's the reason everybody's doing synthetic everything. It's not for the benefit of anybody but these companies making these things. You can't trick the body forever. Synthetic things don't naturally agree with the body. Your body will start to have symptoms from the use of them. Foods must be rotated, but also supplements. Supplements have to be rotated as well, and they have to be naturally derived, otherwise they're going to cause you issues in the long run. Risk is synthetic supplements. Mostly they trick you in the beginning thinking they're helping when they hurt you in the long run and produce more symptoms and force you to stack more supplements on top of it and lead you in a situation where you're reacting to these things not even knowing it, okay? So hopefully that was a good summary of this video. You can visit my website, endsickness.org, for more information. I have hundreds of studies on there, countless articles, videos, etc. Or you could put your comments in the YouTube. Happy to respond to that as well. Please note this is for educational purposes only. This is not meant to be medical advice whatsoever. This is based on my personal experience I've had with my daughter, my clients, the 20 years of research that I've done, etc. So hope the video was helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope to see you soon.